What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Tuesday morning edition of the PrizePicks Prop Show here at FTNFantasy.com. My name is Zach Graham, aka Kawaisenberg DFS, ready to run through today's MLB and WNBA slates. Just one game in the W tonight. It is Commissioner's Cup time. And we are seeing some movement on some of these picks in the direction that we want to see them. So I'm excited to get into it here today. Appreciate you. Whether you're tuning in live or on the replay today, head over to that YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the video. It helps us grow the stream, helps us grow the channel. And of course, if you have not signed up yet at PrizePicks, you can do so by using the promo code FTN. That will get you a 100% deposit match bonus up to $100 at sign up. And you can also download the Sleeper app right now. That same promo code FTN gets you the same 100% deposit match bonus up to $100 at Sleeper. And then our friends at Underdog Fantasy, you can use the same promo code FTN if you have not signed up yet at Underdog. Over there, that's going to get you a 50% deposit match bonus, but that's up to $250. And all new customers right now with promo code FTN will get a special discounted pick at sign up. So again, promo code FTN for all of those offers. I also know we do now have another partnership with Boom Fantasy, and you can use that same promo code FTN. That will get you a risk-free $100 play. And if you are a member here at FTN Fantasy, in that Pick'em Games channel of the Discord, we know that the great Alex Blickel gave out a free play over there on Boom Fantasy yesterday as he signed up. And 4 for 4, we will take that a little 10x to start our Boom Fantasy experience. So take advantage of any of those offers that you have not yet. Get that free money in your account, build that bankroll, and then head over to FTN Fantasy. You can join us here. It's about $40 a month. But to me, the best value, best bang for your buck here at FTN is to sign up for the VIP Plus subscription, and that gets you access to everything under the FTN Fantasy umbrella. It's $299.99 for the year. So about $25 a month, you get access to all of our sports betting content, season-long fantasy, daily fantasy, all of our projection models, advanced statistics, access to all 3 of our Discord servers, including that Pick'em Games channel where Alex just dropped a collab pick that he and I worked on this morning. We're going to talk through some of those picks here. And you can see Alex hanging out in the chat. He needs those WNBA plays. So do I. We have a number of them, even though there's just the one game tonight. And good to see our buddy Zed in here as well. So let's get to the picks here. Don't need to waste any more time this morning. And we're going to start right at the top here in the tool. And I'm actually going to get a refresh because, again, a lot of these are moving and in the direction that we want to see them for how we're attacking this slate with the MLB PrizePicks tool here at FTN Fantasy. And you can see that the top 2 props right now on the MLB side of things at PrizePicks have to do with Tarek Skubal. And, of course, Tigers taking on the Phillies today. Ranger Suarez on the bump for the Phillies. So I get why folks are kind of betting these numbers down. Skubal, about a half hour ago, was sitting at 35 fantasy score on PrizePicks. He has moved down twice, now sitting at 33.5, but that's not the only number that has moved down. His strikeouts prop has moved from 6.5 to 6, and we are going to go ahead and take a more than selection on Skubal's strikeout prop now that it's sitting at 6. The model has him for about 7.25 here today. And just a note from Alex as we were discussing some of these picks over the last hour or so, I thought he made a pretty pertinent point here. That, you get the bonuses for the quality starts, for the wins, when you're looking at fantasy score numbers. And so even though the model does like that more than selection on his fantasy prop of 33.5, he's probably not getting over that number without the strikeouts themselves. And we all know what Skubal can do. So the pick here is more than 6 strikeouts for Tarek Skubal. Then you can see Alex chiming in here saying that over on Underdog, his strikeouts have moved up to 6.5. So he thinks that PrizePicks will probably move back up soon. I would agree with that. And again, that's one thing, another benefit you get of signing up for those other sites, not just PrizePicks. With that promo code FTN is you can kind of line shop as Alex is doing here. So let's move on here to the second pick on the MLB side of things, and that is going to be Kyle Gibson, more than 5 strikeouts. But I mentioned some of these props moving. It is not just Scooble. We are now getting this at 4.5. So you can see the FTN data model has him for a touch over 6 strikeouts here today. And look, I know Gibson, the wily veteran, right? But his numbers this year are pretty much in line with where he's been at from a wide view in terms of the strikeouts, ERA, xFIP, all of that. Over the last 4 years, very, very steady. From Gibson, he's over 5 strikeouts in 7 of his last 10. So we like getting the extra half point here on this number now that it's down to 4.5 strikeouts. You know, Atlanta, obviously on paper, it's not the matchup you want to go and attack, but strike out fairly consistently. I believe 11th most per game in the majors. So again, I like this a lot. And if we can put in the new line of 4.5 here, you can see that skyrockets in terms of how much the model loves this Gibson pick. So I'm actually, as we speak, sliding that into a couple of other entries here this morning. We will put that in there and continue on our merry way. So Scooble, more than 6 strikeouts. Kyle Gibson, more than 4.5 strikeouts. And you can see the differences here. Alex checking out some of those other sites for us live as we go through these picks. He says Boom Fantasy has Gibson at 4.5 and Scooble at 6. So again, when we're out there line shopping, trying to get the best bang for our buck, one of our new partners there at Boom Fantasy, also some advantageous lines on these two. Good to see JJ in here. Yeah, hey man, we've been working on this for a while. You know, not a very hairy dude, but well, it's been working for us so far. So let's talk a little bit about the WNBA. I do want to come back to a pairing because I've only got 5 picks here, and then Alex has added a nice little correlation play to give us 7 total for the stream. But I want to talk about the WNBA at this point because we are in the Commissioner's Cup break here. So this is the only game, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is just the Lynx and the Liberty here tonight. And for the uninitiated, the Commissioner's Cup is really how the NBA based the in-season tournament that happened last fall. It is based off of this model. WNBA teams play Commissioner's Cup qualifying games throughout the early part of their season. And then just like the in-season tournament in the NBA, the Commissioner's Cup, again, this is the OG competition when you're talking about in-season stuff for American professional basketball. A lot of money on the line here, especially relative to the WNBA salaries and salary cap. $500,000 to the winning side here. And I also read that this year there is a prize bonus for the players that involves some cryptocurrency. So a lot on the line financially for these players here tonight. Again, $500,000 is about a third of a WNBA team's salary cap. So this is huge here tonight. Like I believe the veteran and rookie minimum contract players can make about half of their annual salary by winning this game tonight. So this is going to take on a very grinded out playoff style feel here to this game tonight, because you get these players out there publicly saying like, yeah, this is all about the money. This is what we're playing for here tonight. A lot on the line. So this is going to be a fun one to watch for sure. It's going to be a double screen night for me with the Commissioner's Cup and then Copa America at that time of the evening, because it is the summer of soccer as well. So Josh in here saying the women's water polo team line is too low, should be minus 750. This is like the 92 dream team. Josh, you're going to have to fill me in on the water polo lines after the stream. So talking here, let's start with the Liberty. Liberty are 6-point home favorites here tonight. That is actually moved to 5.5 in the last hour. This game not being played at Barclays because tomorrow, NBA is back. NBA draft tomorrow. That's at the Barclays Center. So this is being played, I believe, where the Islanders play. So I think like an hour drive away from where the Liberties fans would normally congregate there in Brooklyn. So I don't know how much that is going to have an effect in terms of the attendance of this one. But Liberty 5.5-point home favorites. And you've got questionable tags on both Sabrina Ionescu and Benijah Laney. So, or excuse me, not Sabrina Ionescu, Courtney Vandersloot. Laney and Ionescu are the picks that we want to talk about here because if Courtney Vandersloot, who has been away from the team, her mother passed away recently, so she's been mourning that loss in her family, but been back around the team over the weekend. And it really feels like to me she was held out of Sunday's matchup because of return to play conditioning. Again, with this money on the line here tonight, the Commissioner's Cup title, the Liberty would be the first team in WNBA history to go back-to-back in the Commissioner's Cup. I think she gets out there and plays here tonight. And maybe it's not full minutes, but I don't need full minutes out of Courtney Vandersloot to take these selections here. So the first one we're going to is Sabrina Ionescu and taking a less than selection on her 38.5 fantasy score. I'm also a very big fan of taking a less than selection on her 6.5 assist prop. So if you're playing somewhere where there is no fantasy score prop up yet or at all throughout the day for these players, then Sabrina less than 6.5 assists would be my favorite selection from this game. But here on PrizePicks, we're going to take the less than on her fantasy score prop of 38.5. You look back to last season, Vandersloot played in 39 of the 40 games. Sabrina herself played in 36. So in those 36 games that she played alongside Courtney Vandersloot last season, only over this number in 10 of those 36. And it does not hurt that the Lynx defense is staunch this season. The Lynx defense allows the least amount of assists to opposing players, opposing teams here this year. So again, that less than selection on her assist prop, I think, is also very, very strong. And Sabrina over this number in 10 of the 18 outings so far this season, but 6 of those 10 have come during Vandersloot's absence, including the last 5 in a row, and some of those games against much lesser competition with much lower stakes in those games. So I'm taking the less than selection on Sabrina. And then we're going to do the same thing with Benijah Laney here and take a less than selection on her fantasy score prop of 26. I expect the minutes to be there. Of course, she is not first choice when it comes to usage in this offense, but she's going to be out there for enough minutes. I don't feel as strongly about this one as I do the Sabrina props, but I do think if Vandersloot is ruled in, we will see this line come down probably 1.5, maybe even 2 points. Laney only over this number. Again, we're going back to her sharing the floor with Courtney Vandersloot. Only over this number in 11 of her 40 games last season. And again, Vandersloot played in 39 of those. So again, taking the less than selection on the pair of New York guards. And then we're going to look to the other side of this game and take another less than selection on the fantasy score side with Alana Smith. Now, she has been more productive from a fantasy perspective this year with her new team than she was in Chicago last year, increase of about 0.15 PrizePicks fantasy score points per minute. But I think that will continue to trickle back towards that, like right around 0.9, 0.95 fantasy points per minute. And we've seen her fluctuate greatly, like Smith, especially on a site that scores like PrizePicks 3 points per stock. Smith can rack those up in a hurry, and that is a huge boost to her in some of these games, especially this year. And so could that happen here tonight in this highly contested game? Absolutely. But it is not a good matchup going up against Stewie, going up against Jonquel Jones, right? Like this just doesn't, this line again seems a point or two too high for me. These teams played earlier in the season. The Lynx came out on top in fairly dominant fashion, if I recall correctly. Yeah, that was a 17-point win back on May 25th. But Alana Smith did not find the point per minute success. Again, that is just a 1-game sample, but definitely plays into my narrative here tonight that this line is too high for a player like Smith in this matchup. So a less than selection on her fantasy score line of 29.5. So getting back here, Sabrina been killing it though. Yeah, man, and she has. And yeah, so once you start thinking about Vandersloot, right, Zed, these lines, again, any of these players, especially Sabrina, could have fantastic games on a big-ish stage like this, relative to the W. But again, I just think those lines are a little bit too high. So I'm going to take the value while we can get it, because these lines for for Sabrina were posted yesterday, especially that assist prop. And then when Vandersloot and Laney got listed questionable yesterday afternoon, those lines came down. And I didn't think we were going to get another shot at this. Maybe there is something that we just don't know about where Sloot is not going to play here tonight. I have done some pretty extensive searching on social media, any sort of news outlets that would be reporting on these things, beat writers and the like. I see nothing that indicates that Vandersloot is anything but questionable. And again, I lean towards a more probable side there, given the timeline, given the importance of this game for all of these players. So Noah said, I know, just continuing to talk through this, right? And do I like Jonquel Jones more than 1.5 threes? That's one thing I was actually looking at Jonquel earlier this morning, and the 3-point volume is way up this year compared to last season with this same Liberty team. Maybe she was just getting her bearings about her. Again, you got to remember last season, Jonquel played very limited minutes to start the year, so she only averaged 25 per game on the season. So part of that is why her numbers are up across the board, but she's also just playing better, much more comfortable in this rotation this year. And when you play on a team as stacked as this, and you are a player as talented as Jones is, she's seeing a lot more one-on-one matchups, right? She's finding open threes out there on the perimeter, tied with her career high right now, 4.3 attempts per game, and her best 3-point shooting performance since 2018 back there with the Sun, shooting almost 44% on the year, 1.9 made threes per game. I have no issue with that pick, Zed, but it's not where I'm going. Where I want to finish this out, and Josh said, okay, so we've already got, right, minus 130 on Sabrina's under 6.5 assists. And again, I really do think that number continues to come down throughout the day. I did just get a little notification here from Underdog that we've got some discounts in the lobby. You can choose your favorite of the 4 they have just dropped here. Let me see what we've got. We've got Ranger Suarez, 3.5 strikeouts. Kyle Gibson, 3.5 strikeouts. Brianna Stewart, 15.5 points. Nafisa Collier, 15.5 points. So just looking at that, I think Suarez or Stewie are going to be my favorite. And maybe we can have, if Alex is still tuned in, again, we can always go to the FTN model and see what it says about Suarez. But I imagine that 3.5 number pretty darn tasty. And again, so is Brianna Stewart, more than 15.5 points. So again, over at Underdog Fantasy is where you will find those discounts today. Promo code FTN gets you that deposit match bonus and another special discounted pick at sign up. Let's close it out here today. Let me put these in. We are going to a pair here to get a little bit of correlation in the tool. This will give us 7 picks to play with to kind of cycle through based on the site, based on how many entries you want to put in today. We are going to go to Austin Gomber, taking on the Astros here tonight. This one is in Houston. We're going to take the less than selection on his outs prop of 16.5. And then we can get, that's 8.5, I think. We can get some correlation here in the tool by checking out Yordan Alvarez on the other side of this game. You can see that the model likes his more than selection on his fantasy score prop of 8.5. Got him projected right around 10.5 fantasy score here today. So you put that in there with the Gomber pairing. The model or the PrizePicks tool here on the MLB side gives you a plus 4.2% correlation bonus when you get Gomber and Alvarez in there as a pairing. That power play expected value here on the 4-pick plus 80.5%. We love to see that. That is the tool working its magic. So Gomber less than 16.5 outs. Yordan Alvarez more than 8.5 fantasy score. And here, Josh, we'll go into the chat for that, and we will certainly have some more soccer takes as we progress throughout these tournaments. And of course, the summer of soccer does not stop there. We have MLS continuing throughout the summer. We've got Leagues Cup, which is MLS and Liga MX playing later in July and early August. So we'll have plenty of soccer on the stream throughout the summer. None so far for me today, though. Have not looked at those props yet here this morning. Alex chiming in with some more pertinent information. Gibson 6.5 strikeouts is 2.25x. And the model has that at 40%. So if you're looking to spice up those entries, I imagine this is over on Underdog when Alex is chiming in here with the multiplier picks. I think that's one you got to look at, right? And then you can see Scooble, 7.5 strikeouts, 1.75x on Underdog, and the model has that at 45%. So definitely heading over to Underdog after we shut down the stream here today and seeing what we can cook up over there on UD, especially with one of those discounted picks in our entries. Of course, now you can build up to 8 pick entries, but remember back to that math lesson that Alex gave us on all these sites, the 6 pick play is the sweet spot in the industry and on Underdog itself. So the picks that we have here on Tuesday morning. From the MLB side, we've got Scooble more than 6 strikeouts. Again, you can get the multiplier prop 7.5 strikeouts, which the model has at 45%, 1.75x over there on Underdog. We've got Kyle Gibson more than 4.5 strikeouts, 2.25x for that. More than, I believe, 6.5 is what Alex said over there on Underdog. Then we've got the pairing there in Houston. Austin Gomber less than 16.5 outs. Yordan Alvarez more than 8.5 fantasy points. And on the WNBA side, we're leaning into the idea that Courtney Vandersloot will be active tonight. So we've got less than selections on Sabrina, 38.5 fantasy score. Benaja Laney, 26 fantasy score. And again, we love that Sabrina less than 6.5 assist prop as well. And then on the Lynx side of things, Alana Smith less than 29.5 fantasy score. That does it for me here on Tuesday. No hoops tomorrow on the WNBA side of things, but plenty of content around the NBA draft. My latest and final mock draft will be out early this afternoon, so looking forward to that getting out. We will have a live blog during the NBA draft rolling tomorrow night. Myself, Mike Randall, Noobs Christensen, should be a blast, and it's a 2-day NBA draft. So you'll see me back here Thursday morning talking WNBA picks, MLB, maybe a little Copa America for Josh, the soccer heads out there. And of course, we can do a little recap of round 1. So you'll see Alex back here tomorrow, same place, same time, same channel, for another edition of the PrizePicks Prop Show here at FTNFantasy.com. Once again, on your way out, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, good luck tonight, everybody.